Activate the sacred wealth code to manifest miraculous money, love and divine blessings in 40 days. In the quaint village of Elderwood, where the autumn leaves danced with the breeze, an air of magic thrummed with every footstep. Jess, a devoted mother, felt a pulse of hope echo in her heart. Once, her faith had soared, filling the village church with songs that echoed through the valley. Now, with bills rising like the tide, Jess felt constricted, the hymns fading into whispers as she grappled with the worry for her children, Emily and Tom. With school fees piling up and coats needed for the chill, Jess felt the crushing darkness of despair seep into her thoughts. That's when Reverend Samuel, his gentle eyes bright with divine promise, shared the sacred wealth code, a revelation that dared to challenge her fading faith. Pray, Jess. In 40 days, you can manifest miracles through steadfast belief and fervent prayer. The words sparked a flicker of hope within her, lighting up the cobwebs of her spirit like morning dew. As the golden sunlight poured into her modest living room, Jess clasped her well-worn Bible. Each prayer became a thread, weaving a beautiful tapestry of longing and trust. Day 1 burst forth with the sound of chirping birds and rustling leaves, a manifestation of life. Yet as days pressed on, trials emerged with relentless force. The news crashed down like thunder. David's job, gone. And then, a fever gripped little Tom, his tiny body burning with illness. Waves of anxiety crashed through Jess. She felt lost at sea. But as the village rallied around her, bringing warmth meals and shared prayers, a cocoon of love enveloped Jess, reigniting flickers of her hope. Together we can weather the storm, whispered Mrs. Henderson, a neighbor whose soft voice reminded Jess of the promises in Romans that reassured believers of God's unwavering support. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But overwhelmed and desperate, Jess nudged the idea of prayer aside, diving into odd jobs like a frantic fisherman seeking a catch. Yet, chaos only deepened. It felt as if the thread of her intentions frayed with every frantic hour spent. Longer hours, less peace. Then one chilly evening, summoned by an undeniable longing, Jess found herself at the church for a prayer meeting. Familiar scents of tea and freshly baked scones hurried her heartbeat. The village gathered, forming a circle of compassion that wrapped around her like a warm blanket. There she poured out her fears, her heart bared under the weight of love and vulnerability. Lord, if you can hear me, please guide us. As voices rose in unity, a thick silence fell. In that sacred space, Jess felt an inexplicable light wash over her, igniting her spirit anew. She realized with radiant clarity that blessings start from within the heart, not in the pockets. Just then, whispers of financial aid fluttered through the air, and an unexpected job offer for David bloomed like petals in spring. Overwhelmed with joy, Jess gasped, the flame of her faith rekindled, urging her to stay rooted in gratitude. Yet, amidst these blessings, a question captured her heart. Could the shining gold lead her further into purpose, or distract her from the essence of love that brought them here? The village watched in bated breath, eager for the next chapter in Jess's extraordinary journey of faith. The village of Elderwood was alive with anticipation, whispers of hope mingling with the crisp autumn air. Jess, now rejuvenated from her recent experience at the prayer meeting, found herself walking through the village square where the marketplace buzzed with life. Laughter echoed from stall to stall, and the smell of spiced cider wafted through the air, wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. She paused, letting the joy of the community seep into her soul, feeling a warmth that chased away the chill of worry. Just days ago, the shadows had loomed large, but now, the village felt like a web of support, each thread pulling her closer to light. Jess realized that she no longer faced the storm alone. She had found refuge in shared love and faith. One afternoon, as Jess sat with Emily and Tom on the porch, the golden sun casting soft rays upon their faces, she decided to share the power of the sacred wealth code with her children. You know, love goes beyond just money or things, she began, her voice steady. It's about believing that we can create our own miracles through kindness, hard work, and prayer. Emily's bright eyes reflected the understanding of a child, while Tom, wrapped in a cozy blanket, nodded slowly as if he too felt the weight of their journey. Together, they crafted a daily ritual, where each evening they would gather around the dining table, candles lit, and share what they were grateful for. I'm thankful for the leaves, Emily would say brightly, and for the grandma down the street who always waves at me. And Tom, small but earnest, chimed in, I'm thankful for warm soup. Each gratitude-filled moment filled Jess's heart with warmth, weaving a powerful cocoon of positivity and hope. As the days rolled on, Jess felt an inner resurgence. With every act of gratitude, her worries began to shift, morphing into possibilities. On one particular morning, as leaves crunched beneath her feet, she decided to visit the local bakery, a cozy nook known for its pastries that melted on the tongue. Upon arrival, Mrs. Garnett, the baker, welcomed her with a smile that radiated warmth. "Jess, I've been meaning to speak with you," she said, flour dusting her apron. "I could use some extra hands at the bakery. It's getting busier, and I thought you might want to help. The pay will support you in more ways than one." The offer, unexpected yet perfect, kindled a spark in Jess. It was a chance to contribute, to give back to the community that had lifted her. As Jess poured her heart into the work, she discovered a beautiful rhythm in the flour, the sweetness of the dough, and the laughter shared with customers. Each day, faith and purpose interwove seamlessly, revealing a new layer of abundance that wasn't just monetary but spiritual. She learned the names of villagers, heard their stories, and felt the deep sense of connection and purpose rising within her. Yet, as joy bubbled to the surface, lingering questions still nestled in her heart. Would this newfound abundance overshadow the simple blessings that had initially rekindled her spirit? With every fragrant loaf baked and every kind smile exchanged, Jess pondered deeply. What truly is the measure of wealth? As the village thrummed around her, changes flickered just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. That very night, beneath a starlit sky, Jess knelt in prayer, seeking clarity. "Lord," she whispered, "show me the path that honors the gifts you've given. How do I balance this awakening with my heart's true calling?" With a heart full of questions, she closed her eyes, trusting that answers would come, answers that could shift the gears of her life in wondrous ways. And as a gentle breeze wrapped around her, she felt a subtle tug at the fabric of her spirit, an invitation that would soon unveil a deeper mystery of abundance. What would the next chapter hold? The village awaited, holding its breath for the shimmering truth that loomed on the horizon. The morning sun painted Elderwood in hues of gold. The village stirred with renewed energy, as if responding to Jess's silent prayer from the night before. She awoke with a sense of purpose that felt almost electric. The usual sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves seemed to whisper promises of change. At the bakery, the warm aroma of fresh bread wrapped around her like a cherished memory. Each day was an opportunity to embrace her newfound role, and today felt different. The intimacy she felt with her community, the shared stories and laughter, infused her spirit with joy. As she kneaded the dough, thoughts danced in her mind, thoughts of miracles to come. What would it be like to have enough for everyone? She mused aloud, surprising herself with the audacity of the question. Mrs. Garnett, listening nearby, chuckled softly. "Oh, dear Jess, miracles are born from faith and hard work." Her words lit a fire within Jess. It was time to take the sacred wealth code to heart, to turn it into action and reality. That very evening at the dinner table, Jess suggested something bold. What if we don't just share what we're grateful for, but also what we dream of? Emily's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Can we dream big?" she asked, leaning forward. "Yes, love," Jess affirmed. "Let's be brave together." And so they began, each sharing their dreams into the flickering candlelight. Tom wished for a pet turtle, while Emily yearned for a treehouse. Jess longed for stability, for the sweet freedom that comes from living with purpose. As the days turned into a week, Jess began to notice little changes around her. Someone at the bakery gifted her with honey from their garden, another brought in fresh-picked apples. Each offering filled Jess with warmth, reminding her that wealth was not only money, but love, support, and community spirit overflowing. One evening, while cleaning up after dinner, Jess found an envelope tucked under her plate. It was from a dear friend who had moved away years ago. Inside was a note promising to help with any financial needs they had. Tears brimmed in Jess's eyes as she read the words, "We are stronger together, no matter the distance." This moment touched her deeply and reinforced her belief in shared abundance. Yet still, a whisper of doubt lodged itself in her heart. Was she truly worthy of this kind of grace? Had the seeds of her prayers sprouted, or was it mere coincidence? Seeking answers, she chose to attend the upcoming gathering at the village hall. The air buzzed with murmurs of a special speaker, a spiritual guide who had transformed lives through his teachings on abundance. On the night of the gathering, Jess felt the familiar buzz of anticipation in her chest as she entered the hall. Candles were lit, illuminating faces eager to hear a message. When the speaker arrived, an unmistakable energy filled the room, as if heaven had drawn near. His words flowed like gentle streams, weaving tales of hope and incredible transformation. He paused, looking directly at Jess, and declared, "There's a power within you waiting to be unleashed. Trust in your dreams. They are the very blueprint of your future." Jess felt the piercing truth of his words deep in her soul. Her heart raced, a rhythm that echoed with the possibility of miracles. As the evening wrapped up, everyone gathered in prayer, hands interlinked, creating a formidable network of faith. Jess centered herself, feeling vibrations of pure devotion. She silently repeated her hopes. Hopes for her children, her community, for a life abundant not only in wealth but in love. As they concluded, Jess caught sight of a luminous star twinkling through the hall's window. There was an undeniable connection between her dreams and the heavens above, as if a path was beginning to form right before her eyes. Now, with her heart brimming with faith and community, Jess wondered, what divine surprises awaited her in this unfolding journey? Would the answers she sought reveal themselves in the most unexpected ways? The days turned into a blur of warmth and wonder as Jess carried the speaker's words within her heart. She awoke each morning with renewed vigor, ready to embrace the blessings of a day filled with possibility. Now, more than ever, she understood that her dreams were not solely her own. They belonged to her family, her friends, and the entire village of Elderwood. One golden afternoon, while delivering fresh bread to her neighboring baker, the future she had envisioned began to crystallize. As she handed over the loaves, Mrs. Garnet looked at her with a knowing smile. "Jess, dear, there's a spark in you. I can see the fire of hope," she said, her eyes twinkling with wisdom. "What's brewing in that heart of yours?" Jess hesitated, her heart fluttering like a bird. It was time to voice her dreams, to share the abundance she yearned for. "I want to start a community garden," she said, her words spilling out like the finest flour sifting through her fingers. "A place where everyone can plant seeds of their dreams and share the harvest together." Mrs. Garnet's expression shifted to one of delight. "What a marvelous idea! We can bring the villagers together, combine our knowledge and efforts. This could be a true miracle." Excitement bubbled within Jess, the idea gaining momentum as they spoke. They envisioned flourishing vegetables, aromatic herbs, and a space of laughter and love. Soon, Jess found herself seeking out others, sharing her vision like a gleaming treasure. After a few days of conversation, she felt the community's heartbeat sync with her own, alive with anticipation and commitment. As the evening sky painted itself in strokes of pink and purple, Jess organized a gathering to unveil her dream. The villagers arrived, curious and excited, filling the hall with laughter and warmth. Fires crackled outside, illuminating faces eager to hear her vision. "Friends," Jess began, her heart racing, "I have a dream, a garden where our hopes can grow and be shared. A space for us all to cultivate not just fruits and vegetables, but friendship and love." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. "We've been waiting for something like this," someone shouted, and the energy shifted as hands rose in enthusiasm. With each voice that chimed in, Jess felt a sacred weaving of community, a tapestry of dreams intertwined. Hearts opened, bolder ideas burst forth, ideas of workshops on preserving, teaching each other cooking rituals, even yoga sessions and scripture study under the trees. The possibilities were endless. Yet, as her dreams were fervently discussed, the whisper of doubt that once haunted her began to speak louder. Could she really lead this? She was just a baker after all. Unsure, Jess took a step back. In that moment of hesitation, an old woman spoke up. "My dears, remember, the earth doesn't ask if it's worthy to bear fruit. It simply responds to the needs, trusting in the giver." Her words struck a chord deep within Jess, a reminder of the power of faith beyond self. "That's right," Jess exclaimed, feeling a gentle warmth envelop her. "If we plant together, then together we shall bloom." As preparation for the garden began, Jess experienced the miracle of shared labor. Neighbors brought spades, seeds, and stories. A deep-rooted connection started forming. But the more her community flourished, the more her heart tugged towards the truth. Was she simply a facilitator, or was there a greater purpose at play? As she stood at the edge of the field one evening, she felt a stirring within, knowing that the garden was merely the beginning. The sky was alive with stars, twinkling in harmony with her stirring spirit, and once again Jess pondered. What lay beyond the blooms? What treasures of the spirit awaited her in this endeavor? What divine path would be revealed as they nurtured those seeds of hope? The air was crisp as morning kissed the earth, bringing the sweet scent of dew to the village of Elderwood. Jess felt an electric sense of purpose tugging at her heart, awakening her spirit. Today marked the first day of their community garden, a day where dreams and faith would intertwine in the soil. She glanced at her neighbors, already bustling with energy, tools in hand and hearts aligned. As they gathered at the garden site, Jess took a moment to breathe in the beauty of the moment. Laughter mingled with the chirping of birds, and her spirit soared like a kite lifted by the wind. "Thank you, Lord," she whispered, feeling gratitude swell within her. In her hands was a small seed packet, a modest thing, yet full of promise. "These are our dreams," she announced, holding it high for all to see. Each of these tiny seeds carries the potential for growth, transformation, and sustenance. Excitement coursed through the crowd like the heavenly sun piercing through the morning mist. People stepped forward, sharing their ideas and aspirations, each voice an instrument playing in harmony. They spoke of tomatoes bursting with flavor, herbs fragrant with purpose, and flowers brightening their lives. But as they planted, Jess's mind raced. Was it enough? Could this garden truly be a haven of hope? Deep within, doubts nudged her, creeping back like shadows at dusk. Yet, with every seed placed in the earth, she was reminded of the old woman's words. It was not about worthiness, it was about willingness. "Invest in the soil and the spirit, and watch miracles unfold," she breathed, feeling the call to trust. A little boy, Ethan, stepped close to Jess. His hands were small, and his eyes shone bright. "Miss Jess, can we plant a sunflower?" he asked with the innocence that melted her heart. "Absolutely," she replied, beaming. "Sunflowers face the light, and so shall we. Together, we will always seek the light." As they dug into the earth, the soil beneath their fingers felt cold yet welcoming, a promise of life waiting to burst forth. Each child laughed and cheered as they planted row after row, and the adults shared old gardening secrets and stories of their past. "Remember, the garden gives what it receives," Mrs. Garnett called out, laughter ringing through the air. "Just as we nurture the earth, it nurtures us." The collective spirit lifted higher, woven tightly with threads of community, faith, and newfound hope. But then, a ripple of unease swept through as they considered the future. What if storms came, or weeds choked their efforts? The specter of doubt hovered. Jess felt compelled to address it. "We can't control the storms, but we can key in on our commitment," she started. "Let's pledge to support one another, no matter what." Hands joined together, voices assembled in a chorus of determination. "Together we plant, together we grow," was their chant, solidifying bonds of trust in a sacred promise. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky with hues of gold, Jess stepped back for a moment to gaze at the gardener's labor. The rows of freshly planted seeds shone like jewels in the dwindling light. Yet just as her heart swelled, she sensed a deeper yearning, the call of a greater purpose resonating within her spirit. What awaited them as each shoot broke through the earth? What would their faith manifest in this garden? Could their love blossom into something more profound than just flowers and food? The night began to wrap around Elderwood, but the possibilities danced around Jess's heart like fireflies. Life and growth echoed all around her, singing of miracles yet to come. Would they find the answer together? The breeze whispered in her ear, urging her forward into the night. How might their journey transform not just their garden, but the entire village? The divine mystery lingered, inviting her to step deeper into faith. As dusk settled over Elderwood, the villagers began to gather their tools. But Jess lingered. Her heart beat with a strange urgency, a pull that beckoned her to stay a little longer amidst the rows they had planted. The encroaching darkness seemed to cloak their efforts in a promise rather than despair. She drew in a deep breath, tasting the earthy fragrance of fresh soil mixed with hope. Around her, the voices softened, yet a newfound vibrancy lingered like the last rays of sunlight. Men and women exchanged glances, some wrapping their children in loving hugs while others picked up their shovels as if they couldn't quite part with the sacred space they'd created that day. Jess felt a swelling unity, something greater than the land they'd tilled, something tangible within the very air. "Hey everyone," she called out, her voice cutting through the gentle whisper of the evening breeze. "Before we leave, let's take a moment to think about what we truly desire from this garden." Each person turned and faced her, their faces illuminated by the fading light, curiosity glinting in their eyes. "What do you mean, Jess?" asked Mrs. Garnett, wiping the remnants of soil off her hands. "We want tomatoes, herbs, and beauty. What more is there?" "Yes," Jess said with a soft smile. "But what if I told you this garden could offer us so much more? Let's think beyond the harvest. What if it nurtures not just our bodies but our spirits and our community as a whole?" The villagers stirred, some exchanging thoughtful glances. The weight of her words sparked a quiet intensity, as if the very earth beneath them was listening too. "I believe this garden can be a place of connection," Jess continued, "a source of love, hope, and miracles. Just like the seeds we planted today, our dreams can grow here if we tend to them with care. Our unity can flourish, creating bonds that will never wither." A boy from the crowd, Ethan's voice broke through the thoughtful silence. "Can we make wishes on the plants?" he asked, eyes wide with innocence. Jess suppressed a chuckle. "Yes, dear Ethan, let's make this garden a sanctuary of dreams. We can write our wishes on paper and tie them to the plants. Each blossom and each fruit can hold our hopes and prayers." A ripple of excitement ignited among them as mothers began to speak of health, fathers of prosperity, and children of adventure. Hearts stirred, and a chorus of whispered intentions filled the air, an unspoken community pact woven into the very fabric of their garden. As the stars began to twinkle overhead, Jess closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the gentle breeze wrap around her like a warm embrace. She felt the presence of the divine, an unmistakable assurance that this garden was more than just a plot of land. It was a sacred vessel brimming with possibilities. Their shared energy pulsed with an almost electric current. What miracles awaited them in the days to come? Could their voices summoned into the night reach the ears of heaven? "Let's gather again tomorrow," she suggested, breaking the euphoric moment. "We can finish planting and start crafting our wishes." One by one, the villagers nodded, hearts kindled by an invincible fire. As they departed, Jess looked back at the rows of seeds glistening with dew. A whisper of the divine promise just waiting to be fulfilled. But what deeper truths would they uncover in their devotion? What might the garden reveal as they continued to cultivate their faith? With a hopeful heart, Jess stood alone for a moment longer, feeling the pulse of the night, that sacred rhythm inviting her further into the mystery. What, she wondered, would be the first miracle to emerge from this hallowed soil? The morning light poured over Elderwood like a golden blessing, illuminating the dew-kissed garden where dreams had been sown. Jess arrived early, her heart a symphony of anticipation. She could almost hear the whispers of the plants, filled with the secrets of life waiting to unfold. The stillness held a sacred promise, coaxing her spirit to awaken fully to the day. She knelt in the soil, her fingers gently tracing over the freshly planted seeds. A warmth surged through her, filling her with an exhilarating sense of purpose. Today, they would craft their wishes and begin to infuse their aspirations into the earth. What wonders might take root in such fertile ground? As the villagers began to gather, Jess looked up to see familiar faces, each one reflecting a mix of hope and enthusiasm. Children ran ahead, their laughter weaving through the air like a sweet melody. The elderly couples, with their hands intertwined, exchanged affectionate glances, embodying a profound love that could weather any storm. "Good morning, everyone," Jess called out, her voice ringing with excited energy. "Let's find our places among the seeds and begin. Each wish you whisper today will be tied to the essence of this garden." Mrs. Garnet approached, holding a bundle of colorful papers. "I have our wishes ready, Jess. Some of us wrote more than one." Ethan, beaming with pride, added, "I've fashioned a whole little book of wishes." The villagers chuckled, and hope sparkled in their eyes. This was not just gardening, it was a collective act of faith. As they gathered in a circle around Jess, she felt the air thickening with magic. "Let's begin," Jess said, taking a deep breath. "First, let's share what our wishes mean to us and why we've chosen to tie them to our plants." Each person spoke, their words merging with the cool morning breeze. A father, filled with sincerity, spoke of wanting a brighter future for his children. A widow softly voiced her desire for healing and companionship. A candidate for community leadership shared thoughts of growth for all, and laughter erupted when one child exclaimed he wished for the tallest tomato. With every wish spoken, Jess felt an energy rise. It was a palpable devotion, a shared resonance that shook the air like distant thunder. The garden itself felt alive, as if listening and ready to respond to their collective hopes. Jess instructed them to write their wishes on the colorful papers, which shimmered like jewels in the sunlight. One by one, they tied the papers to their plants, each knot imbued with intention. As the last wish floated on the breeze, a hush fell over the group. It was a silence pregnant with possibilities, a moment suspended in time. "Now let's take a moment of silence to meditate on our dreams, to feel what this garden can become," Jess suggested. The group closed their eyes, and the world around them fell away. In that sacred stillness they felt connected, body, mind, and spirit. Suddenly, a soft rustling came from the rows of seedlings as a gentle wind danced through, brushing against their cheeks. It felt like a touch from the divine, awakening their souls to a higher calling. "What was that?" whispered Ethan, eyes wide with wonder. Jess opened her eyes, entranced. "I think the garden just acknowledged us. It is listening." Excitement rippled through the group. An overwhelming sense of possibility filled the air. What if their wishes truly began to unfurl like the tender shoots in front of them? But deep within her heart, Jess wondered, were they ready for the changes that might come? What sacred transformations awaited Elderwood's beloved garden, now a beacon of unity and faith? As they finished their moment of contemplation, Jess felt a stirring in her spirit. Something monumental was about to emerge from this holy ground. Could they embrace what was to come? What miracles awaited them just beyond the horizon? Jess turned her gaze back to the garden, the sun now climbing higher in the sky, casting a golden hue over the gathered villagers. The air crackled with a sense of wonder, as if the very fabric of reality was bending to their collective will. Each heart beat in unison, swelling with faith, anticipation dancing in their eyes. Eagerly she took a step forward. "Let us now plant these seeds." A chorus of children squealed in delight, following her lead as they grabbed small trowels. They dug into the earth, laughter mingling with the fertile aroma of the soil. Every scoop seemed to entwine their joy with the wishes that had just been shared. "Let's remember, it's not just about the seeds we plant," Jess reminded them, her voice tender yet firm. "With every seed, we sow love, hope, and courage. This garden will be our testament to the power of unity." The villagers nodded, feeling the weight of her words, knitting together their resolve. One by one they planted, their hands embracing the earth, each movement slow and deliberate. Jess noticed small faces turned upwards, awe evident in their eyes as they witnessed each wish being birthed into existence. She smiled at Ethan, who was now carefully placing a small seed into a soil-filled hole, closing it with loving care. As the last seed nestled into its new home, Jess guided the group into a circle again. She felt a heightened energy swirling around them, a sacred presence woven through their gathering. "Now, let's take a moment to bless this garden. Allow love to flow from your hearts into this space." With heads bowed, silence blanketed them once more. It felt as if time stood still. The only sound was the soft whisper of the wind mingling with their thoughts. Jess envisioned the seedlings breaking through the soil, each one a lived embodiment of a prayer, a dream destined to grow. And then, like soft chimes ringing in the air, faint yet insistent, a voice interrupted the stillness. "What of the wildflowers, Jess? It was Mrs. Garnet, her voice trembling with emotion. What do we make of those dreams unspoken, those desires hidden in the heart? Jess opened her eyes, meeting Mrs. Garnet's gaze, thick with layers of wisdom and experience. The wildflowers, she echoed, pondering her words. Those dreams are just as significant. Sometimes they need our attention. The garden is a place for all dreams, spoken and unspoken. We must nurture every whisper of hope, not just the ones we think will bloom. The crowd began to murmur, contemplating their unsaid yearnings. Jess felt the air shift, charged with a new understanding. Could they truly embrace every hidden desire, every fear that clung to their spirits? Peering over at the garden, a thought struck her suddenly. Let's gather the wildflowers of our hearts. For every fear we have, or every wish stuck in our throat, let's write those down too. We can plant them under the earth as well, letting the garden absorb them, transforming our shadows into light. A soft buzz of energy filled the group as they set about gathering their thoughts. They began to write, letting everything pour freely from their hearts onto paper. As the new wishes fluttered onto the soil, Jess felt a rush of warmth. May each flower born from our hearts stand testimony to the strength in vulnerability. Together, we shall nurture all aspects of ourselves. In that moment, a single seedling broke through the surface of the earth, shimmering as if kissed by a divine light. Gasps erupted all around her. It was the first of many transformations, the silent promise of miracles to come. Yet Jess could sense it. An uncharted energy pulsed, a deeper mystery tied to this moment. What else, she wondered, might the garden reveal to us? They stood there, poised at the edge of the unknown, ready to witness the unfolding of their collective faith. Would they embrace the wildflowers that burgeoned within? What divine mysteries awaited? The sun hung high, warm and radiant, as the villagers stood together, awash in the glow of their shared experiences. Jess felt a stirring within her heart, the weight of possibility dancing on the edge of her spirit. What revelations awaited them in this enchanted moment? Let us pause and breathe deeply, she urged, her voice a gentle current weaving through the thrumming excitement. This garden is a living prayer. Each of us has a role to play. Let's focus together on what it means to cultivate our deepest dreams. With that, she closed her eyes again, inviting the villagers to follow suit. The rustling leaves provided a soundtrack to their collective moment of reflection. Each breath felt charged, laden with the sacred energy they had created together. Amidst this reverent silence, Jess sensed something stirring among them. The air thickened as if invisible hands intertwined their faith. She could feel each heart's desire weaving into the collective tapestry of the garden. It was beautiful, and a little overwhelming. Opening her eyes to the sunlight breaking through the trees, she caught sight of Ethan once more. He stood with dirt on his hands, deep in thought, the look on his face serene yet contemplative. Jess approached him, kneeling beside the little boy. "What's on your mind, Ethan?" she asked softly. He hesitated a moment, glancing back at the garden before whispering, "I want to plant something special, something that will grow big and strong, like the dreams we have." Jess smiled warmly. "And what does that dream look like to you?" "It looks like a tree," he replied, his small hands gesturing with enthusiasm. "A tree that gives shade and fruit, something that helps others." Her heart swelled with pride as she realized the profound simplicity of his words. A tree that nourishes others. Indeed, that was the essence of their gathering. "Then let's plant a mighty seed, Ethan," she encouraged, hope blooming anew within her. They turned back toward the group, and she raised her voice, excitement echoing. "Does anyone want to join us in planting a tree of hope? A dream that will not only feed our souls, but the world around us as well?" A chorus of eager voices rose in response. Villagers rushed to find the largest seed they could gather, buzzing with the promise it held. Jess felt an inexplicable joy filling the air, the kind that made the heart dance. As they all worked together, the energy swirled higher, thick and palpable. Jess paused, reflecting on how the garden had transformed from just a patch of earth into a sanctuary of dreams. But as she looked deeper, she sensed another layer blooming beneath the surface, something bigger than them all. Suddenly, a flicker caught her eye. Turning, she saw a brilliant light shining from a cluster of flowers that had appeared seemingly overnight. It pulsed gently, casting mesmerizing shadows on the ground. Gasps filled the air as the villagers stepped closer. "What is that?" someone whispered. No one answered. Jess felt a magnetic pull, her heart racing. She beckoned them forward. "Let's gather around. This is a sign. Something meaningful is unfolding." As they encircled the glow, a hush drifted over the group. The air was charged with awe, each villager searching their hearts for understanding. Jess felt a strange yearning to reach out and touch the light emanating from the wildflowers. What could it mean? What was being revealed in this sacred moment? Standing on the cusp of revelation, Jess opened her heart wider, ready to embrace whatever divine mystery lay ahead. If the garden whispered secrets, she would listen. "Let us open ourselves to whatever gift this light brings," she murmured, the promise of hope igniting every soul gathered here. The mystery thickened and the light shimmered brighter. Would they be brave enough to interpret what lay ahead? What would the garden reveal as they all stood together, united in faith? As night descended over Elderwood, the villagers stood captivated by the enchanting light pulsing from the cluster of wildflowers. Jess's heart raced with anticipation, each breath ignited by the possibility that swirled around them. This was no mere flicker. It was an invitation from the divine, a beckoning to step into a deeper understanding of their journey. "Together, let's embrace this moment," Jess urged, her voice steady yet filled with wonder. The villagers held hands, forming a circle of unity, their hearts beating in harmony with the soft glow that illuminated their faces. As they gazed at the mesmerizing light, Jess felt compelled to share the dreams tied to their wishes. "Let's speak our hearts. What do we feel when we see this light? What dreams do we want to illuminate?" One by one, the villagers offered their hopes into the sacred space, their voices full of reverence. "I wish for a future free from fear," spoke Mrs. Henderson, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "For laughter to fill our homes." "I dream of a place where every child feels safe and loved," chimed in David, his deep voice steady yet vulnerable. With each declaration, the light grew, illuminating the ground beneath them, an affirmation of their shared faith. "Together we call forth abundance," Jess exclaimed, feeling the sacred pulse of connection surge through her. Let this light serve as a reminder that our dreams are worthy of manifestation. As Jess spoke, the light shimmered brighter, casting radiant colors that danced on the villagers' faces. Each color was a reflection of their hopes, blues and golds embodying peace and wealth. A profound realization settled into Jess's spirit. They were the harvesters of their own miracles, grounded in love and community. Suddenly, a gentle breeze swept through the gathering, carrying the sweet scent of blooming flowers and whispering secrets from the heavens. It felt like a warm embrace, and Jess smiled brightly as inspiration flooded her heart. "Let's plant these dreams out loud," she encouraged, raising her voice even higher. "Let us seal them into the earth, not just as wishes, but as promises we intend to nurture." The villagers responded with fervor, gathering small wooden stakes to write their dreams upon. One by one, they placed their dreams in the soil around the cluster of wildflowers. When everything was finished, Jess looked at the now magical garden. It appeared aglow, tending to each hope with warmth. The air shimmered with the promise of life and transformation. With newfound courage, Jess turned to the villagers, her heart ablaze with gratitude. "My dear friends, this garden is not just a place for sprouts and seeds. It reflects our spirits interwoven. We are making a pact. Every plant nurtured in this soil will symbolize the love, kindness, and unity we share. We cultivate not only our crops, but one another." With the last remaining light of day fading, Jess knelt before the vibrant wildflowers as if bowing before their beauty. "May this garden sustain us," she whispered. "May our dreams blossom, reveal hidden joys, and teach us to trust the journey ahead." As darkness enveloped them, the glow of the wildflowers dimmed, but never extinguished. It lingered in their hearts like a flame of faith. With evening stars emerging in the sky, a gentle peace settled over the village of Elderwood. At that moment, Jess realized the beauty of connection transcended all material desires. The journey had ignited more than miraculous money or tangible wealth. It now radiated with love, faith, and community, miracles sown into the very fabric of their lives. In the days that followed, their garden flourished, an ever-growing testament to their common devotion. With each new harvest, precious fruits and vegetables became the manifestations of their dreams, cultivated with love and shared among all. And as the summer turned to autumn, the villagers of Elderwood came to understand that their true wealth lay not in isolation, but in their interconnectedness. Jess's heart brimmed with gratitude as she witnessed the transformation in every neighbor, every child laughing freely in the garden, each family discussing their dreams over the shared bounty of the land. The garden became more than a patch of earth. It was a sanctuary of new beginnings, a place where every seed held a promise. The villagers grew together, not just in wealth but in spirit, embodying the sacred wealth code that had been whispered among them in faith. In this beautiful oasis, Jess found her new purpose, and the village celebrated each miraculous moment as they nurtured not just plants, but one another, weaving their hearts into a tapestry of love. With a gentle sway, the wildflowers danced under the starlit sky, luminous reminders of the power of community, the loving roots that graced the earth below and reached for the heavens above. The narrative sang with a harmonious end. While the future quietly awaited more miracles, the village answered life's call, unwavering in their loyalty to love, faith, and the community they had cultivated together. Now is the time to act on the beauty you've witnessed. You need to subscribe now to the channel. Don't let this journey end here. Leave a like now. To feed the algorithm, your support makes a divine impact. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this miraculous ending. Your voice is a blessing. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this manifestation. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this sacred journey through these actions.